A science experiment gone terribly wrong. Here's what's coming up on the Nice Guys on Business.
And it's not real like it was once. You know, when I was a kid in the 60s growing up, I remember you would tune into a radio station not to hear the music so much, but to hear the people who talked, you know, the disc jockeys, the announcers.
They're wanted in 45 states, not wanted in the other 5. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Welcome back, Funkin' fans. My name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler. Man, do we have a treat for you today? We are mixing it up. We're doing different shit. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm taking the day off.
Yeah?
I feel good about this. I don't feel like I actually earned a day off. I mean, we've only been doing this for almost 3 years now. Mm-hmm. It's time to take a day off, Strick. Are you comfortable with this? Are you okay with letting Randy take the reins?
I'm okay with letting somebody else do the interview, but actually taking a day off, now we owe it to our fans. No. They want us every single day of the weekday. You know, they don't want us on the weekends too.
Well, they do. They actually have. They actually do want us on the weekends, Strick. And I've been meaning to have this conversation with you about expanding our footprint.
Who is requesting it on the weekends too? Who? Tell me.
Me? I guess me. I guess I kind of miss them on Saturdays and Sundays when I can't really have this
go back and listen to old episodes then, okay? We got almost 500 of them, and I'm quite sure you've forgotten what you said in most of them. So you want more...
I forgot what I said earlier today.
Exactly.
All right.
So we're starting a new segment that we're going to do at least the next couple Fridays, and it may end up being, I mean, it's not going to be every Friday, but I mean, I'm thinking maybe we'll do like, in general, the 4th Friday of the month, maybe something like that.
Oh, this could be good. So Randall Kenneth Jones, who was a guest on the show and impressed us so much with his interview talents and skills. He's brought us a handful so far of really high quality guests. Today's guest is Dave Elliott. Next week, Carrie Ralston, and on week 3, the 27th of this month, we have Susan Bennett, who is more affectionately known as America's Voice, the voice of Siri.
Apple's voice. Let's not say America's Voice, okay? You know.
Come on. She is. I mean, what could be more American than Apple?
Google.
Yeah, that's true.
You see, Apple makes, you know where your computer was made?
Oh, I don't know. Where is my Apple? I thought it was made in California. Am I incorrect?
I believe it's made in China.
Oh,
and your iPhone, why would you... I believe, was also made in China.
Yeah, but Susan Bennett was made right here in America.
True. That's 3 weeks away. We can talk about that when we get to her. Dave Elliott has been in the media since he was 16 years old. He's got the radio voice.
He really does.
He talks like this much better than I talk like this. Like you hear him talk, and it's like if you put he and Steve-O in a room together, oh my God, it'd be way too much.
I wonder what it would be like to have 2 voiceover talents. I don't know if Dave Elliott does voiceovers, but I know that he's definitely a radio guy and has that deep radio voice. But what would be like a voiceover artist? What would be like their battle? You know, like what would they battle over?
What if you did like James Earl Jones against Morgan Freeman?
Oh my gosh, that would be.
How cool would that be?
That would be really cool. Now, do you remember a guy? His name was Mason Adams. Mason Adams was a voiceover guy also, but I love or Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're talking, but I think Morgan Freeman and James Earl Jones would be the best.
Focus.
Oh, sorry,
this
Mars.
is about Dave Elliott, and it's about Randy too. Like Randy, like I said, we're going to try and do probably like a regular once a month, but we're going to give him the next 3 Fridays of interviews so we can introduce you guys to him. See what you think.
Yeah, he's great. He's a great talent, and he does have some really great connections. And I think you guys will really if you remember, can you find out what episode that he was on last in case anybody wants to actually check him out in full episode regalia? Don't even remember.
I can
you don't
look
have
it
one
up,
note
maybe.
in front of you or anything like that. But Randy he's hilarious, and you will love him you loved him as a guest. I know you did because we got some of our best download numbers from the episodes that Randy was airing on. And Randy approached us and said, hey, I think it would be real, or maybe I approached him and said we should do something together. The two of us decided, and then we got Strickland involved, and then it was a whole fuckery
Total
when that
shit
happens, because three of us getting together, coming up with ideas. I'm like, sounds like a great idea. Strick, can you handle it from here? and that's pretty much what happened. Yeah. And then, of course, Strickland says the next best thing, which is we'll put our best person on it. Hey, Mar, hey, Mar, handle this. So between Mar and Anna and Randy, they've taken the entire show over. And interestingly enough, Strick, so my wife has now become a listener to our show to a certain degree. She won't admit to listening to every episode,
that's dangerous.
But she's like, you guys really need some a little bit of a female influence on the show. You really need to have somebody come in that has a woman's voice and a great business sense and come on and do some interviews too. And of course, she was talking about herself.
You think?
So I said, okay, what do you got? Throw one at me. She's like, well, isn't it time for you guys to just step aside a little bit and have a little bit more of a women's influence on the show? I'm like, I'm not stepping aside. What do you mean step aside?
I'm wondering what she said when you said, okay, bring it. Because 9 times out of 10, when you put that to someone, I'm not talking about your wife, because she's really probably the wrong person to put that to.
Right, right.
Like, if you just say, okay, do it, show me, they're going to be like, okay. I didn't realize it was so much work. Again, your wife is totally not that person, but I'm still curious. Like, if she thinks it's needed, dive in. Let's see what she can do.
I couldn't agree more. I love, and I'm not saying this about my wife because she probably would be the one that would follow through. But when you actually put feet to the fire and you say, okay, walk that walk. It is not as simple as opening up a microphone and talking. All the other shit that we got to go through. Holy crap, there's a lot of stuff. I just get tired thinking about it in the course of my day.
Hey, kids, please don't try this at home. Podcasting is really difficult. The nice guys are professionals.
That's true.
I love that
Very
outro.
true.
It's one of my favorites. And
Yeah,
it's almost,
it
I think I gave Steve O'Brien the line of, don't try this at home. The nice guys are professionals. And the next 30 seconds of rambling after that is all him. And it's so goddamn funny.
Thank you, by the way, for replaying the one where he has the Patreon pledge. That's the best one. That is truly the best one.
200 podcasts get shuttered.
Shuttered. That's the best word.
Oh God!
Shutter their doors. Speaking of which, if you haven't contributed, we have not done any Patreon plugs in a really long time.
No.
Patreon.com/nice guys. We don't need your money. We don't even want your money, but it would be just nice to know somebody's.
Whoa! What you talking about? You speak for yourself.
Okay, we don't need your money, but it would be nice to have it. Okay. Just show, you know what? You really could show your support by actually giving money to the show. That would be great.
Be nice.
It would help offset some of the bills.
It would. Well, and you're going to find us sponsors, right, Doug?
I know. I'm working very hard on finding sponsors. As a matter of fact, I know I mentioned this before, and I will not get into all of the details, but I did 40 interviews over the last 4 days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, that's 4 days. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 40 interviews, and a number of them have already expressed interest in actually sponsoring the show.
Love that.
So yeah, because one of my leading questions was, we would like to continue the promotion of your business even after your episode airs, and one of the question is, would you be interested in hearing information about advertising on our podcast?
Love it.
So many of them, I would say, let me look at the numbers. 12 of them actually said that they would like information.
Sweet.
So of the 12, don't you think we should be able to get one or two that would be interested in moving forward?
I would hope. You have to show me what a great salesperson you are. No pressure or anything.
None taken at all. And next week, the introduction of Jackie the Joke Man's Nice Guy Joke of the Day. So on Tuesday and Thursday next week, Jackie the Joke Man Martling, from the formerly from the head comedy writer from the Howard Stern Show, he's decided to sell out to the Nice Guys, and he is doing a joke of the day for us on our Tuesdays and Thursdays episodes, so that he can pick up a little bit of our audience and a little bit of our Nice Guy love. And what a great guy. What just amazing guy to interview. He just was like a down-to-earth, really cool guy.
Doug, I worry that when we start talking about Jackie the Joke Man and Susan Bennett and all these amazing interviews that we have coming up, that, the guy today, Dave Elliott, he might get a little offended.
Why would you say that? I don't even know that Dave is even going to listen to his episode. You think he will?
I think he will. I
You
don't know. Maybe not. He's a radio guy. He's heard himself talk.
Is there
a
a
lot.
certain? So that's true. He's on the air a lot. Maybe he won't even hear it.
Yeah, maybe not.
Hopefully he won't. No, wait. Hopefully no. No, but we don't want to disappoint Randy. So maybe the mentions of all these other things that are going on in the night. But isn't that the part of the nice guy world that is so wonderful? Is all of these great things that are happening?
Okay, we'll spin it that way. That's our story, and we're sticking to it.
All right, so let's get to the interview with Dave Elliott. This is Randy Jones's premiere interview, his Show Me More segment on The Nice Guys on Business. Wow, that is a lot of shit to say. Why don't we just say it's Randy Jones' Show Me More on The Nice Guys on Business podcast.
Hello, nice guy community. Well, it took a while. We got here a little thing called Hurricane Irma. Kept me down here in Naples, Florida for a little bit. But this is the first edition of Show Me More, my podcast as part of the Nice Guys on Business. My name is Randall Kenneth Jones. Thrilled to be here. Thrilled to be asked. Thank you so much, guys. Happy to be part of this. I wanted to, with my first guest, go to somebody who I'd be really comfortable with, who, if I messed up, would point it out in a way and help me kind of be better at this. So I invited a gentleman named Dave Elliott, who is sitting across from me right now. Unfortunately, we're not videotaping. You can see what goofballs we actually look like. Dave's been involved in media actually since the age of 16 as a radio personality. He's been heard in markets from Michigan to California to Florida. In television, he's hosted, produced, and directed everything from local news to live parade broadcast telethons, entertainment specials. Dave has had such diverse occupations as, and I'm an arts guy, so I love this, orchestra conductor, choir director, and professional stage director, which we'll probably chat about a little bit. At present, he is the top-rated morning host on WGUF in Naples, Florida, and is also a marketing consultant operating his own digital video and audio production company, Box Now Studios. Boxnow.com. That's where we're actually recording at right now. So we're going to put the pitch in early. Dave specializes in writing, producing, and directing radio and television commercials. He's estimated that he's written over 10,000 in the past 30. He's nodding his head. I can't, the words. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, especially if you figure like 175 words for a really fast 60-second spot.
Okay, so now that's what a radio voice actually sounds like,
Oh,
not
quit.
mine.
Quit.
Somebody actually called me ma'am on the phone yesterday. I called about something, and they said, yes. They said, thank you, ma'am. And I went, oh, really?
They don't know about your upcoming theatrical engagement either? That would be something.
Yeah, well, that's another interview.
Yeah.
So, Dave, you're also an experienced videographer, and you create commercials, documentaries, video editing, shooting, and editing, video writing. I mean, what don't you do?
Well,
is there anything you don't do?
Sleep.
You don't sleep.
There's no time to do that.
No, not at all.
I'm not a morning person, and I do a morning radio show. So how does that work out?
Well, what time do you actually get? It starts at 6.
Well, it starts at 6. Most mornings I'm up at 10 minutes to 4. But on Wednesdays, when I do my show live on location at a famous steakhouse, I'm up at 3:15.
Man, that's where I see you at the famous steakhouse in the morning.
And you can tell by looking at me, I don't get much of a beauty rest.
Well, we're actually putting your pictures up. So.
Although fortunately, they've been heavily doctored, so we're okay there.
But it's so cool you're doing this because I've been on your show many times. I have so much fun when I'm on your show. I haven't done this. Now, as we both know, okay, we've got like a 22, 30-minute window. I have no problem talking, right? I have no problem with that. Cutting down to 22, 30 minutes may be the challenge. You get to tell me to see, you're the pro here. So you're here to kind of take my hand and kind of teach me a little bit about how to do this better. Because you've done this since the early days of radio. Actually.
Yeah, I think Marconi and I were classmates.
That's what I had that one ready for next, and you already stole it. So.
Don't mean to steal all your jokes.
So, I just want to ask some stuff that really applies to how I do a better job as a podcaster. And frankly, also how those of us, and I listen to these as well, can become better, more involved audience members. Because you have been involved in this for quite some time. I'm doing it right now. You obviously, when you're live, now we're recording and we're hoping to not make any edits. You got to think on your feet. What advice can you offer me or us. I mean, everybody has to think on their feet for having the ability to think on their feet.
I wish I could say there's a formula or a trick. For me, it's just years of being a frustrated stand-up comic. I swear to God, I have never had the guts to actually write a routine and stand on stage and do it. And there's a big reason why.
Well,
Fear
why?
of failure. Seriously. In the radio business or the podcasting business, you're in one room in this configuration.
Right,
you're in
right.
one room and I'm in another. We can't see the reactions or hear the reactions or feel the reactions of the people around us. We're both theater guys.
Right.
So we know that when we're given somebody else's words and a competent director, we have faith that we're going to do well and the audience is going to accept us. But when it's you alone on the stage, the only way I'm comfortable is knowing that I can't hear the audience's reaction.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
Okay, because
That's one of my main insecurities.
and I'm, an actor and a speaker, so I live for that.
Yeah.
I feed off that, and that keeps me going. So I'm going to say to you right now, I didn't know that you were a frustrated comic. So now my next goal is to actually get you on stage.
Oh, no, that ain't going to happen.
Now we're supposed to embrace the part of my platform,
I
Dave
understand.
Elliott, is embracing your fear.
I totally get that. And I have embraced numerous fears. After all, I've been married a number of times, so that should count for something, I think.
People don't know. And actually, you can listen to you. You're Dave on the Air.
DaveOnTheAir.com/play, and we're on live every morning, Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern time.
Right. So
and then I do podcast. I do, record the show and put it up on the site later to listen to it.
And that
on
site
demand.
is DaveOnTheAir.com.
DaveOnTheAir.com.
Right. So people can actually listen to. Okay, you're a funny guy. Whether you're going to admit that, he's giggling. He's got to go, and you're a funny guy. Talk to me about humor and communication. Talk to me about the important, because you're now telling me that you don't need to see or hear the feedback. I love that.
Well, it helps to have some feedback. For example, my producer, Steve, is an absolutely integral and important part of my show.
Right. He is.
He reacts with me. He tells me jokes. He brings me material. We really do 3 hours a day of more or less improv. My show prep consists of spending about an hour and a half before showtime scouring the web for news stories and funny stories, some serious. Sometimes we take on issues. During the hurricane, we were on every morning live with no script for 3 hours, taking phone calls, talking to people about Irma. That was pretty serious stuff.
Okay, let me interject here. I think I really do want people out of this area, which most of the listeners know, to understand that during the hurricane, when we didn't have power, if it weren't for Dave Elliott, I wouldn't have known
Thank
really
you.
anything. No, it's true. Because, we're limited. We're charging up the phones. We're trying to we turn on the radio, and they went back to regular music and commercials.
On a lot of stations.
On a lot of stations. But I knew that from 6 to 9 in the morning, if I listened to Dave, he was going to be focused on things. So thank you from me, and thanks to those who do that.
We were a conduit, really. That's what we did. We sort of helped people get the message out. And that's really the role that radio has come to be recognized for. It is unfortunately not the role that radio is playing now. It's become corporatized, and it's become mechanized and automated and impersonal and fake, and it's not real like it was once. When I was a kid in the 60s growing up, I remember you would tune into a radio station not to hear the music so much, but to hear the people who talked, the disc jockeys, the announcers. We don't get that anymore.
But we get it with you.
Well, you do with me, but
Yeah.
I do a talk show, and there are guys like Trey Radel and Drew Steele, other people in the market who do the same thing, and they're very good at what they do.
Who do you admire on a national landscape?
I've been asked that question a lot, and every time I'm asked it, there is somebody new that's on my radar. One of the people that I really enjoy because I find him sort of erudite and a little snotty.
You're not going to say me, are you?
Brian Williams on MSNBC. He
Oh,
does a
yeah.
show at night called The 11th Hour. It's on at 11 o'clock, and I usually hear it in the morning when I'm driving to work because they repeat it.
Yeah.
And he's funny. He's very clever. He's a little snotty,
Mhm.
but he's smart as a whip.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that I enjoy listening to.
I'm going to put forth my opinion that attention spans have become painfully short. Painfully short. How has this changed the way you work over the years? And what tips do you have for me about keeping my audience's attention?
Always remember who you're talking to and who you're talking for or listening for. You are as
okay. I'm going to repeat that. Always remember who you're talking to
and who you're listening for,
because I think that transcends radio.
It is I think a core value. I'm guilty of interrupting people all the time on the air, and I've been they've had to sit me down and say, "Shut your damn mouth," But it does require discipline, something that I sorely lack. I had a great friend for many years, was a consultant in media, and he used to say that the interviewer is the audience's surrogate. You're asking questions that you hope your audience would want to know the answers to.
So it also, when one of our listeners is listening to anybody, whether it's this podcast, that's what they should be looking for as an audience member. Is this person speaking for me,
right,
talking to me, and talking about issues that asking questions I would want to ask?
You know why Stern is so popular? It's not because he talks dirty and has women take their clothes off in his studio. You know,
well, that's the next show that I'm doing on here.
Good. Well, I won't be there.
Carrie Ralston will be taking her clothes off for the next show.
She just fell off her chair. No, the reason Stern is so popular is because he says what most guys think.
Yeah.
And he just says it. He's like stream of consciousness, no filter. And every guy who listens to him or used to listen to him, I don't hear him because he's on the same time I am, but they go, man, that guy's got me nailed. He's just the way he thinks, just the way I do. That's why.
Yeah.
So the other thing that my consultant friend said was there is a sort of a psychology called parasocial interaction. It's a big phrase. Para meaning para.
Para.
Like paralegal, like sort of legal, like sort of social interaction. When you watch the TV news or you hear your favorite talk show host, you build a fake relationship with that person.
You do. I actually heard Charlie Gibson talk about that once.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially and Charlie was referencing morning people because you're letting people into your home before you even had your coffee.
Right.
Right.
So doesn't it make sense that they all ought to be in pajamas and onesies and walking around with no makeup on and their hair all messed up on TV?
Should we tell them that we're in onesies right now?
No.
Once again,
you're in a onesie. I'm wearing my signature broadcasting caftan, which I keep on to hide the wrinkles. So, see, I told you I'm a frustrated comedian.
See, but you're funny. I'm going to get you on stage.
So parasocial interaction is the idea that you have some sort of relationship with the person you're listening to or watching through the screen or through the speaker. Yeah. And the person on the other side of the speaker, the one presenting, needs to remember that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, okay, now I'm going to flip this because I've spent much more time. Now, I did have, and it's in my book, there's a really funny story in my book about when I was an overnight DJ on an AOR station in Missouri.
All over the road?
Yeah. It didn't go well.
Well, AOR in Missouri sounds like a contradiction in terms right there.
It was a college town. I'm just going to give it a little hint that, a record skipped. It was a God show on Sunday morning. It was Powerline. Remember Powerline?
I do, yeah. And what was the skip?
The skip was Jesus, 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 Jesus for 23 minutes.
Well, the faithful must have loved it.
No one was listening. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning in a college town. No, I mean, literally, had the phone rung, I would have seen the light. Literally would have seen the light. And I thought, no one's even listening to me.
It's not very good for your ego.
Yeah, so that career for me didn't. So it took me, 40 years to come back to this career. So now, since I've been, from your perspective, from your job, more of an audience member, how do people become better audience members to these types of programs or any program?
I don't know that you become a better audience member. I think what you've got to do is shed your preconceptions about what a conversation sounds like between two people where you're not there.
Right.
You're kind of eavesdropping, I think the idea that it's interviewer, interviewee has got to be thrown out the window. I tell people, and I told you this, I think the first time we were on the radio, guys, said we're not going to do an interview. We're just going to have a conversation.
Which we did.
And we were laughing. As a matter of fact, I think we spent more time laughing than we did
spent a lot more time laughing.
Did actually talking.
So today we have 22 minutes of talk and we have 45 minutes of laughter.
That's right.
That's the way I've got it planned.
We'll tell the editor to edit out all the laughter.
And then when I let the snort go, then we really got it. I'm a snorter.
Yeah, I bet you are.
How does your on-air personality differ from your day-to-day behavior?
I'm much cruder in person.
I told you, this is your chance. There's no FCC.
No, I'm not going to say the F word or anything like that.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you this now. What was your biggest on-air disaster? And I know you just told me one. You said
I had just come back from a very, very relaxing vacation. I mean, it was one of the best vacations I ever had, and I was so loose, and I got in the morning, I was energized, and Steve and I always do a little chit chat before we get into the meat of the show. And he said, "So, what'd you do on your vacation?" I said, "I didn't do shit." And I went on, and he was so shocked that he didn't push the button to bleep it. And
because you've never ever said that word before in your entire life.
I think I heard somebody say it once when I was in grade school, but that was it. And so fast forward 6 years now, we're up for license renewal, and we have to run these ads on the air saying, if you have any public comment, please let us know. Some woman called in and said she heard me say that 6 years before at 6:10 in the morning when I got to have maybe 8 people listening. Yeah. Maybe. She was one of them. We got the license renewed anyway.
Well, see, okay, you just said shit here, and we're fine with that. We're good with that. So this is like you got a free pass on that.
I don't give a crap.
Okay. Now, no, one of the things that I think is going to have more appeal to a broader business audience, what I love when I read your bio earlier, you kind of took a core competency of communication. And I think most people say, this guy's in Naples, Florida. I'm not going to be able to listen to him. That's not true. We've given 2 different ways you can actually listen to the Dave Elliott Show, even if you're in Timbuktu. I mean, you can still listen to
Provided they have Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Timbuktu. Carrie, look up please look up Wi-Fi in Timbuktu.
See what you find. They do it by jungle drums there. You should hear me on jungle drums in Timbuktu. It's like George of the Jungle. It's amazing.
You won a Grammy for that.
It wasn't a Grammy. It was a Bammy for hitting the drums. Bam, 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 bam. Thank you. I'm here all week.
I'm putting you on stage. Okay. So you basically have all these components to your career. And I'm fascinated with Vox now, where we are, because this is a beautiful facility. I think you mentioned that all of the Wicked, what is it? All the recordings
We do a number of voiceover artists from around the country who both come here to visit and who live here. And one of my good friends and clients is Michael Carroll, who is the voice of the Broadway musical Wicked on radio and TV throughout the country. Whenever Wicked tours to a city, we do the TV and radio ads promoting that, and they're all done here, and they're recorded in New York. He's here live in my studio, but they recorded in New York,
right,
over a special digital line we have. And they're put together and they air everywhere, including in New York City.
So let's say you're not situated in Naples or within Fort Myers or Miami or whatever.
Southwest Florida. Yeah.
Southwest Florida. How is the best way that somebody can interact with your company?
Well, texting and email are hugely popular right now.
And pay you money.
Take
money? Advantage of your services.
I'll tell you what, I'll put a pay portal up on my website tomorrow. We can make this really easy. Just send your check or money order directly to me.
And you don't have to work at all. Just we're going to do a GoFundMe for you.
I get a tremendous amount of business off my website. Tremendous amount. And I'm no website expert. I'm a do-it-yourself guy. My wife and I built this studio. We painted it and glued the carpet on the walls, and we did all that. I'm a do-it-yourself guy. I put my own website together, but it works. I get calls daily. Can you record this or record that? What are your capabilities? And we're very fortunate. We've done ADR work. Do you know what that is? Automatic dialogue replacement.
No.
Where you have an actor who has to come in, and it used to be called looping.
Oh, okay.
You know what looping is? Where
I do.
They made a mistake on a set, or there was a noise, and they need to re-record the voice. So we've done some of those. I did one recently for Major Crimes, the show on TNT.
G.W. Bailey's my buddy.
G.W. was the man who was sat right across the
your chair. The best? He's my
such
buddy.
A cool guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And a lot of guys are like that. Guys you don't think of that. He just came in and he was very workmanlike and he cranked it out and we were done and he was incredibly friendly. He has a wonderful organization called Sunshine Kids, which I'm sure you know all about.
Well, I support them. I'm working on their gala this year. They really, within my book, which is, for those who don't know, called Show Me, GW is profiled in there. And Sunshine Kids is the one nonprofit that is featured in there because of the work they do for kids with cancer. I think it's tremendous.
It's just remarkable. And it was such a pleasure to meet him. So you never know who's going to walk through the door. One day I had a call that Michael Douglas was going to come in and record some voiceovers, and I called the agent back and I said, "The Michael Douglas?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I'm thinking, well, this is cool.
Yeah.
It was not the Michael Douglas.
It was some guy. It was Mike
another,
Douglas.
It was another Michael Douglas. Yeah, but he's very, very good, and I hear him all the time on TV now.
But the agent's like, "Oh yeah, sure,
Yeah.
it's the Michael Douglas,"
Yeah.
thinking there's only one.
This is a great job. I often tell people being in radio and being a recording studio are like much easier than real work.
But like you've got a pretty big. You said you didn't sleep. Look, you're doing the video. You write. You produce commercials nationally. Didn't you do something in Singapore? Didn't you have?
We had a client who needed to record a narration, and the talent was in Naples, but the client was in Singapore. So we're up at 2 a.m. because of the time difference doing a session here, and it doesn't matter to me. Whatever you tell me you need me here, I'm here.
But that's only an hour earlier than you normally get up.
Yeah, really. Well, this is on a weekend, so it kind of ruined my weekend.
I told you we were going to say this because I just want to honor this person. Last time I was here, we were doing a recording session with Peter Thomas, and he's also profiled in my book. As I say, Peter narrated my childhood. He was American Express, Don't Leave Home Without It. For those of you, we lost him about a year and a half ago, and I really encourage people to look him up. He was, Google him, find out about him, listen to his voice. Chances are you've heard it. He was here countless times.
Yes, we for the last 10 years of his life, all of his local recordings in Naples were done here in this studio.
One of the most generous, his wife Stella, a generous, kind man. And he was a gentleman and she was a lady.
They used to call him St. Peter in New York. When he worked in New York. There's a funny story. I don't know if it's true or not. It's obviously not true. It's apocryphal, but here's the story. Suppose Peter always carried with him a little red notebook, a little red book. It was you can buy these books. They're just blank pages, and he would write down. It was a diary. He would write down where he went, what he did, what recording he did, how the session went, little notes about it. But it was his Bible. Without that, he didn't know where he was supposed to be from day to day. He would write his appointments down in there. And the story goes that one day he was walking through Central Park back in the 60s when he was the most famous voice in America. And a mugger comes up to him and he says, "Give me all you got." So Peter opens the book and says, "Well, I got a Wednesday at 2 and a Thursday at 4.
Another tip, I will tell you, listeners can do this. A Nice Guy Community. He's the voice of Forensic Files, and as twisted as I loved this man, I loved his wife, I miss him so much. But when I want to hear him, I will turn on Forensic Files while on HLN it's still on, and listen to him talk about murder and mayhem just to listen to his voice. Wonderful.
There are some very funny spots. He did some spots for Geico a while ago that were very, very funny, and some great commercials for ESPN where he was. They were called Monday Morning. You can look them up if you Google ESPN Monday Morning, you'll see the spots and hear his voice on there, and they're just hysterically funny.
He's such a brilliant man, and I was to actually see him. I had told him at one point in time, I said, I don't have the voice for radio. And of course, he disagreed with me, and he told me to come to his home studio for a coaching session. So I'm having my own Tuesdays with Maury in his home studio, and we recorded several pieces that were in my book. And he corrected me.
That's Peter all the way. He was always helping out young, new voice talent.
The fact that you referred to me as young in any capacity, I think we're going to keep that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about other people. But compared to me, Methuselah's young, so that's okay.
Okay, now you've interviewed me several times.
Well, we've had on-air conversations.
Again,
I don't interview people.
Excuse me, I've been corrected. We've had on-air conversations with lots of giggling out of me.
That's very true.
Lots of profound.
I'm convinced it was the smell of the bacon in the kitchen at Shula's Steakhouse.
Yeah.
There.
The bacon
I'm
is good.
That's what it was.
So what do you think I'm most likely to do well, and what do you think I'm most likely to suck at?
Well, thanks for that curveball,
no,
Randy.
Hey, I'm all
I did
about.
read the questions in advance, but I missed that one.
It's written there.
I think what you do best is interact with people and bring out a side of them that most people don't get a chance to see from reading some of the profiles in your book. That's the thing I would take away. What would you suck at? Probably not much.
I think shutting up. I did pretty good. I didn't talk over you that much, but me shutting up is not a strong point.
You know why? We both have the gift of gab.
We have the gift of gab, and we're going to call that a blessing. We're going to call that a blessing.
I made a career out of it. I've been in broadcasting now 48 years.
So I forgot. Did you print out what I gave you?
I did not print it out. I just read it on the screen.
You actually need this. And maybe if we can get Carrie to trot over here, and I'm going to bring this to you. See, what I'm playing around with, I'm looking for taglines. We're looking for some funky little taglines.
Oh, so you want me to read some of those?
Yeah, because you got the real radio voice.
Being as how we didn't actually do any prep at all for this conversation, I didn't know we were going to do that. Otherwise, I would have had a chance to read it. So whatever I do, I'm going to do cold, which means I won't have had a chance to look it over. You want me just to read these?
And just look at the ones you like and kind of think which tagline, what kind of pops up. But you've got the radio voice.
All right.
And I was called ma'am yesterday by somebody at Comcast. So
you were called ma'am?
I was called ma'am.
Were you bitching or what were you doing?
I was being nice. Well, you actually heard I was being nice. Well, of course
I say that because I've never called Comcast without complaining.
Well, I was complaining.
There you go. See, that's why they called you ma'am. It was just to get your goat. Did it work?
Yeah, it kind of pissed me off.
All right, let me see here.
So these are my taglines that I'm just trying to think, how do I position myself now that I'm a big hoity-toity, important, Howard Stern-esque radio personality.
All right, here's one of the ones you wrote. Randall Kenneth Jones on the Nice Guys. He always has something to say, whether you want to hear it or not.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's pretty good.
Let's try this one. Randall Kenneth Jones on the Nice Guys. He's type A impaired.
But that's true. You told me, I said that once, and you said, there's a shot for that?
Okay, here we go. This is me. I'm pulling out the stops now.
Okay.
Randall Kenneth Jones on the Nice Guys. Oh, my God, just buy his book. That's really why he's here. ShowMeJones.com.
Shameless self-promotion, Dave Elliott.
I didn't realize you were just doing this to get free liners out of me.
Yeah, I'm trying to get free liners. I sent this to you in advance. The fact that I tucked it away on the third page and you didn't get to it.
Nobody ever reads the third page. When you get an email, you have to admit, you read down to the bottom of what you can see, and then you stop.
I'm type A impaired.
I don't mean you. I don't mean you so much as I mean that's what people do. I think that we have moved into an age, seriously for a moment, if I may.
Yes, absolutely.
We've moved into an age now of short attention span theater, if you remember that from the old SNL sketch, where if it doesn't come in small bite sizes, we are not going to digest it. We have a president who actually operates that way. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't fit on one page, he doesn't want to read it. Mm-hmm. We have kids who are brought up that way. We have Snapchat, where not only is it short, but it disappears after a while. Mm-hmm. We have short-form television through streaming that sometimes maybe it's 15 minutes, sometimes maybe it's an hour. But on the web is where most of us seem to live now. Mm-hmm. We are dealing with bite-sized nuggets.
Right. Well, an opinion can be formed on a hashtag.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a hashtag and you have your opinion right there.
Pretty much.
I'm a huge advocate for communication, and I'm a huge advocate for conversation and actually getting the facts and having some understanding of something before you actually comment on it. And I know you are as well. And as the clock is ticking down here, but I really do want to thank you for the, 125 years you've now spent in this profession.
Thank you. It only feels like 120.
In the morning, it's actually been fascinating to go watch you live, and I'm just kind of fascinated by how you just you're like the Energizer Bunny of
Can I just ask you one question?
Yeah. Oh, are you allowed to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you afraid of bunnies?
Okay. Yes.
The inside joke, you were going to ask me that question.
Yeah.
I had a great answer for you, too. But you didn't ask me the question, so you're not going to get the damn answer.
I was once at work. I was naked, and I was attacked by a bunny. And if people want to know more, they actually really do have to buy the book.
Wait a minute. You were at work and you were naked?
And I was at work. It was a long time ago.
Well, yeah, I guess. Was this around the time when everybody was naked?
No, it was a special kind of job where nudity was part of it.
Oh, I was at work. Kind of job where nudity was part of it.
Where it was actually seeing me nude wasn't a horrifying thought.
Well, I'm horrified at the moment.
You brought it up. You're the one that said.
I didn't know nudity was going to be involved in a joke about bunnies.
Well, bunnies are naked if you think about it. I mean,
no, they are not.
Well,
Ask Carrie. She'll tell you they're covered with fur.
they're covered with fur, but there's like naked
You
on
can't
top
see
of the
parts.
fur.
Yeah, but everybody's naked under their clothes. So from that standpoint, we're all naked all the time. We're just naked under our clothes.
Oh, this is totally falling apart. I'm so happy about it. Because at least, hopefully, we've been entertaining. You're an extraordinary man. Thank you for your gifts during Irma. Thank you for being part of my relationship with Peter Thomas, so special to both of us. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, which is considerable, Mr. Dave Elliott. He's blushing right now, but unfortunately it's radio and you cannot see. So the next thing I was working on, Nice Guy Community, is trying to figure out how the appropriate sign off. And I had somebody I interviewed, Susie Orman, who I believe the world has heard of. Maybe not everyone.
One of the great financial advisors of all time.
Tremendous woman who has actually been very supportive of my work. And I want to sign off with my favorite quote, actually, the piece of advice that she gave me that literally haunts me. Every new moment you spend with anybody and anything has to be a new moment and not just a recreation of the past. Bye-bye.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in.